The Simpson Diversity Index is a measure of the diversity of a given area at a given time. It can be used to compare two or more areas or to monitor one area over a period of time. Biodiversity is the variety of all forms of life on Earth, and it is very important to protect the diversity of the Earth's environments.
You are not going to believe the dream that I just had. It was terrible. Everyone was careless and didn't even want to protect our environment, so it was all destroyed. There are so many reasons why we need to conserve the biodiversity, like ethical, ecological, economic, and aesthetic. In a rainforest we have to consider all of these factors. I mean seriously, ethically all animals and species have a right to live, and many people have a connection to rainforests, and it would be wrong to take that away from them. And think about it ecologically, if one species goes away then the environment is affected and has to find a new way to adapt, and adapting could take a really long time. Conserving the rainforest also benefits the economy. You can have ecotourism that also provides jobs, and then there are resources like medicine, food and materials. And there is also aesthetic reasons, like it would not be very beautiful if everything was burned down. People are inspired by and appreciate the beauty of our rainforests.
Wow, that is very good. Did you learn anything about invasive species in your dream?
Yes, I did. There is biological control, accidental, and deliberate release of invasive species. They are considered alien species that have major impacts on ecosystems. An alien species is a species that arrives in a non-native habitat, usually as a result of human activity. A biological control example is releasing ladybugs to kill aphids on roses in a garden. You are deliberately trying to control the population of a pest species with use of another. An accidental release is like the zebra mussels from Russia that were unintentionally released from ballast water on ships, but now dominate waterways worldwide. A deliberate release is like the cane toads in Australia that were meant to kill cane grubs, but didn't work. The cane toads outcompeted a lot of native wildlife. Impacts of these alien species include species competition, where the new species competes with the native species for resources, like food, space, and light. Another impact is predation, where the new species begins to attack the native species. The native species population drops because it cannot adapt to the new predator. And in some cases, extinction of a species can occur because of hybridization, where the native species is replaced by the new one. Another impact of invasive species is biological control, where the invasive species can control the population of another invasive species from the same origin.
That is very good. However, we can have biological control over invasive species by moving them to a new location, preventing their entry, controlling their population, etc.
I understand. And it is very important that we protect all of our species, especially from bad things like biomagnification of species that could be prevented.
Such as DDT, which is a harmful pesticide, being sprayed onto crops, and washes off into rivers and lakes and gets on aquatic animals and phytoplankton in low concentrations. The little fishies eat these producers and over time accumulate a high amount of DDT in their systems. Then bigger fish eat these fish and gain a higher level of DDT themselves. Finally, when a bird consumes one of these big fish, it has ingested all the DDT gathered through these lower trophic levels. Thus you have biomagnification.
Wow, that is insane. If people were more careful, then many of our species would not be contaminated with these dangerous chemicals we are providing the environment.
Did you know that another thing that affects living species and biological productivity is ultraviolet radiation? The ultraviolet radiation damages the DNA, which causes mutations. This radiation can kill phytoplankton that are a huge part of net photosynthesis that occur in the biosphere. This would affect the whole oceanic food web. Also, an increased exposure to ultraviolet radiation can increase chance of skin cancer, sunburn, and eye cataracts in animals.
It is a good thing that we have ozone in the stratosphere, also known as O3, that absorbs over 93% of all UV radiation which reaches Earth.
Yes, however there is a chemical gas called chlorofluorocarbons, also known as CFCs, that negatively affects the ozone layer. CFCs accumulate over polar regions. Thus cold temperatures allow for depletion of the ozone layer by splitting CFC molecules, using UV radiation. This can cause an increase of ultraviolet radiation reaching Earth.
And that can cause an increase of damage to living things and contribute to global warming? Wow, this is crazy. Who knew there were so many things doing harm to our environment?
Now you know more. I am glad that you are more aware of your environment. Would you like to start an environmental awareness club?
Yes, I would. I love the environment.